Hey there. So it is a rainy, ugly, nasty DC night, so there's a few better places to be than spinning poi. Especially when it involves funky ass tricks like this, which is the result of Alien John's first tech blog that he posted this week, of which I'm a big fan. And I cannot wait to see more. It is extraordinarily awkward right now, but I get the basic idea and I think it's pretty fun. Essentially what it amounts to is, if you guys have played around with Nick Woolsey's concept of the no-beat weave at all, if you start off with arms uncrossed and, you know, bring them above your head and over to the other side, you end up in a crosser, right? So John's taking the same kind of property of crossers and poi and using them to create a new and kind of funky way of rendering flowers that is crossing and uncrossing your body as you're creating these poi movements. It requires that going one direction you're doing anti-spin, and when you're going the other direction, you're not. So it's never possible to turn more than 360 degrees without switching the kind of flower you're creating. Which is also really funky when you start dealing with things like, say, if the poi are moving split time same direction, you can use it to create a very interesting variant on the anti-spin flower, or rather on polyrhythm hybrids. Like so. Notice how one hand is going anti-spin all of its way around, and the other hand is going in-spin. Cool idea. There are definitely some interesting possibilities of motion with that, and I feel like I get a chance to play around with them a lot more soon. Beyond that, this week I started playing around with some really bizarre cap patterns after hearing one too many rants about how, oh well, everybody just thinks that caps look like this. So to try and put some cap patterns out there that look slightly different, here's a concept for you. The rules are that you're essentially mixing together segments of anti-spin and pendulum, right? So I can do anti-spin, pendulum, anti-spin, pendulum, anti-spin, pendulum, back and forth across the same section. Or I can do something even funkier with it, wherein I can do anti-spin, and then instead of penduluming back across the same segment that I just came from, I can pendulum across the opposite side of the circle. And the fun thing is that the pendulum will actually create the momentum necessary to go straight back into anti-spin on the way back. And then I can go pendulum once again back across the top, and I now have momentum to go back into anti-spin. So the result of this funky beastie looks like this. And on Thanksgiving, I started playing around with the idea of what if both hands are doing this pattern at the same time. Specifically, I started playing around with opposite split time. The results of which I think are pretty cool. So then it dawned on me, well, what if I offset one figure from the other? What if instead of doing the anti-spins at the same time with both hands, one of them is doing the pendulum segment while the other one is doing the anti-spin segment? And the result is this really funky beast. Which, if you'll note, there are essentially 4 segments of this that all look completely different. there's one segment where I'm going pendulum versus anti-spin, just as though I were doing a variation on that polyrhythm hybrid. This one wherein the hands are going split time opposites. And then once I come over here, across the bottom I do what looks like a standard cap, right? Then it transitions into a pattern wherein there is pendulum on top of an anti-spin pedal going across. And finally, I wind up with an anti-spin pedal with a pendulum right beneath it, just like the top point of this pattern once again. So once again, that is it's kind of sticky still, but man is it cool. Because at any point in there I could break out into any one of those patterns and have it totally work. I think it actually also qualifies as one of Charlie's totopotent patterns from his nine square theory. Finally, so last week I showed off this move, which I have since realized I was still doing slightly wrong, in that when you come down for the pendulum stall down here, if you actually keep the two poi at a right angle to each other, it provides exactly the right amount of momentum for you to get the poi up to the top the next time around, as opposed to the 1.5-esque pattern I was using last week, which, if you check the video, you'll realize was causing me to overshoot it quite a bit. Cool. So, that's all I got for you guys this week. I am hopefully going to be posting a video detailing more information on my poi symmetry theory and specifically how it applies to caps, hopefully in the very, very near future, so please keep your eyes peeled here. And yeah, above all else, thank you guys for watching. I will see you next time.